Hello everyone, I'm Spihore and welcome to my December Chaotic Recode tournament video. November we didn't have a tournament, it was a card designing contest. I wasn't able to participate, but December we did have another tournament, another double elimination tournament, and so I'm going to go over the deck I used, and then I'm going to show you the matches I played, and then we'll end off with recapping all the matches, and I'll show you my opponent's decks as well. So this is my deck. After a lot of thought, I went with another Ursus deck. I was debating using like a Fluid Morph deck, or just doing like a Strike or something, but I realized I've never seen anybody use Ursus with the Lankertosh combination. Lankertosh is using Lanker, using Ikatosh. Usually you use an Archear, and this just, you have no elements, that's why Ursus has the Cranium Pendant, takes away his Earth, then Ikatosh's triggered ability gives him 20 additional energy, so you're at 100, and then you use Lanker to pump your stats. So let's just go quickly. As I said, this battle gear, once it's flipped up, once you start combat, you expend right away. The expend will go on top of Ikatosh's ability on the burst. Then Ursus will gain 50 courage, which is nice, but then he also gains 20 energy, which I need. He's already at 85 power, so you just hit him with Lanker's ability once he goes to 100. Lanker will lose 5 energy, go to 25, but Ursus will gain 15 in your chosen stat. So to Ursus, an Archear, he's really good in here. Up from power 5, excellent. Recklessness 10 is not great, but then you look at his third ability, while you control an Overworlder, reduce all recklessness damage dealt to an Archear to 0. So he could have 50 recklessness, but as long as you got an Overworlder, he's not taking any recklessness damage. So you got 85 power, decent courage, subpar wisdom, and speed. 60 energy, goes to 80 with Ikatosh, got a Muja counter. I gave him the Doom Hammer. So normally you'd see an Archear with an Evergreen Tunic, a Baratheon Axe, or a Xerium Armor. I did this for a couple reasons. One, the first ability is great if you happen to be facing Underworlders or Danians. Second, having him at 135 power is really helpful, since you'll notice Lanker doesn't have a Husk Armor, because you need to use Guard for that, and I chose not to. He's got a Mind Probe, so you only get so much stat boost out of Lanker, because after like 4 or 5, he's going to be really low. So if you don't use Doomhammer, you might have to boost your stats a lot depending on your opponent's stats. So this just takes all the concern right out of the way. If they get rid of the Doomhammer, you know, I can deal with it, but as long as this is here, I don't have to worry about his power, and I can use Lanker's ability to boost his other stats for some of the attacks, which I'll go over next. Then quickly, our defender is Loma. Same deal with Ursus. Since she has the element water, you have to get rid of it to get Ikatosh's boost, so at the beginning of combat, you expend her water. She gains 50 wisdom, which doesn't matter. It's helpful if you're facing a wisdom deck, but that's just so she can get to 80 energy. Ikatosh, the 8 King. Muja counters, excellent. Wisdom, excellent. Got a Mind Probe to protect him instead of a Husk Armor. Gives everybody 20 energy, as I said, and Lanker we use to boost our stats. Now the important part here is the attack deck, so you'll notice I don't have any 3 build points. It's all 2s, 1s, and 0s. So Fearless Strike, Ursus and Ursus and an Archear can use this right away without getting buffed. So that's 25 right there, 30 with an Archear. Dry Liquid, Staple Power Attack, Magma Hack, everyone should be able to do this. Traditionalist Charge, really good. For Ursus, once you hit him once with Lanker, get his power up to 100. His battle gear should have him up to 100 courage already, so you get all the effects. With an Archear, if you're really desperate, I would do this a lot. You just use 3 hits of Lanker to his courage, and then you get the additional gain 5, never a bad thing. Flash War, of course. Prowl Strike, really helpful to have the Doomhammer in this case, because if your opponent has like, 75 or 80 power, which a lot of creatures do, then just using Lanker, you'd have to use up almost all of his energy to boost this. But with the Doomhammer, that really helps take care of it to get that easy 30 damage, 35 with an Archear. Snap Acceleration for this is really in here for power. If you're losing and you haven't used Lanker already, you can use it to boost his speed, whoever you're fighting with. An Archear, it's pretty tough to do, but Ursus, sometimes you get him to 100, and you can use that for cycle, but mostly we want the damage. Ectospasm, just a 0, but we've only got 5 zeros in here, so it's not a big deal. Smart Smack, just another one of these 2 build point, 25 damage things. It was either this or, what's it called, Alacritus Force. Ursus's wisdom and speed are the same. Maybe I should have done Electus Force for an Archear. Loma has good wisdom, so as soon as her power is up, she can do it. But it wasn't a big deal. Marksman's Prep, just another good 1 build point, and then usually there's like an Aftermath Feint or Shadow Strike or something. I went with Muge's Edge just because it's a useful 10 drop for Ursus that doesn't require a condition besides him having Muge, and you're not going to be able to take away his Muge type. And then the stat boost and 10 damage is nice. Locations. Locations are pretty standard, there's nothing crazy in here. Castle Wrathwhack, you're going to have high power, so that's why that's in there. Lord's Chamber, just nice initiative, you get another Mirage in, and gets rid of Compost. It's always important to have Compost hate in tournaments. Mipin Mirage, almost every deck runs this, just good to have, good for control, especially if you somehow lose Loma and you want to keep your opponent away from Lanker and Ikitosh. The Pits, you will lose initiative more often than not with this, just because so many creatures have fire, but the Outperform Power 5 makes it up. The Phalanx, this is good for a couple reasons. If your opponent happens to have low courage, then great. But as I said, with Ursus's Battle Gear, 50 courage plus 60 courage, that's 110. So when he's fighting in here, you don't have to do anything, and you're going to get an additional 5 attack damage. Initiative, he's probably going to go first, which is good. You can get an Archear up to over 100 courage, as I said, so that additional 5 buff is great without being tied to Outperform. And yeah, the other things you can run here are like Oral Forest or Carnival of Confusion. Actually, no, you can't run Carnival because you need Ursus to have Earth. So you don't have a ton of options, but this is a fun location deck. The Music is what I struggled with the most because I didn't use the standard Lankertosh build. Double Carnivore's Keening, just because it's good with an Archear, you can turn him into a beast and the recklessness doesn't matter as long as you have your overorders, like I said. It's good for keeping Ursus alive in a fight. The tough thing about this is you can't hit Lanker with Carnivore's Keening while he's still equipped because he has the highest wisdom on the team, so no one else can target him unless this is gone, or you'd have to boost Ikitosh's wisdom. Rhyme of the Reckless and Refrain Denial are my overworld Mujiks. I was debating using Interlude, but I figured Refrain is better just because sometimes people will have Flumore, so they'll be casting off creatures who have lots of counters, and the Interlude becomes useless. Melody of Mirage, just because using Lanker's counter to the best ability possible. What I struggled with the most was including Discord of Disarming, because with an Archear you can do Discord, you can do Elemental Denial for Underworld Mujiks, or you could do a Surprising Rifts, just in case. So the reason I debated this was a couple things. There's so many Battle Gears that are triggers, like Ursus's Battle Gear. Well, it's not a trigger, but you can expend in response. So if it was destroyed in that one battle, it's fine because he still lost his Earth. A lot of people use Baratheon Axe. A lot of people use Bulky X Apron. So while getting rid of Battle Gear is good, in that moment, it won't really help you. Surprising Rifts wouldn't help you in that case as well, but it can be useful in more strategic situations. Also, depending on what kind of music they have or what kind of location it is, if they're running Runic Grove or if they're running Underworld Refrain Denial, one could be better than the other. So I chose Discord of Disarming. You'll see how this plays out once we get into the matches. But yeah, that's basically everything. It was a really fun tournament. I really like this deck. Ursus, you know, he's just got such a high floor. As long as you put him in a decent deck, it's going to be fun. Yeah, and so with that, let's get to the matches. Alright everyone, so here is the first match I played. I played this against Saimatsu Shipper. I believe they are a new player. So as you can see, the deck, we got Lorena on the front line, we got Kinian, the Zenith of the Hive Loma. So I'm not going to show this whole match just because like it's not a good matchup. I've got 2 Ursus and an Archear. So I just showed you the initial setup. This was a pretty quick match. I just cut through the middle parts because I didn't want to waste a bunch of time on this. I think this was this person's first tournament. So of course everyone is welcome and encouraged to play in whatever tournament they want. It's just this wasn't going to be a close match, just on paper. You did put up a bit of a fight there with Rhyme the Reckless and Purifying Mud, but Ursus is just too strong against Brassness. So that was done. Moving on to the second match, I play here with Bernardo. If you don't know Bernardo, he almost exclusively uses Oni, whether or not we're in a tournament. So he takes Nuncorn with Bodil's Elemental Converter into my Ursus there. Now, since Nuncorn has Annoying ability, and he just played a first turn in Deadwater, I want to try to kill Nuncorn as quickly as possible, both to get him out of the way and also to stop his Slugmorphers from just piling up the counters. I know he's going to pile up the counters eventually because I don't have a way to remove his counters or stop his abilities, but you just want to try to kill them as quickly as possible to limit the damage. Here's this charge. He did a bunch of damage to me already with his Battle Gear and with the Deadwater. I'm just playing all the big attacks I get just to try to get him down. He's at 3 counters, he's at 4, and then he's got that annoying ability, like Synaptic Acceleration. He uses 1 Mage counter to get Nuncorn down to 3, so he'll revive. I let the Suppressing Rifts go through, which was a bad idea. As you'll see in a second, I wasn't sure what he would have, or what he was going to do, but you always want to try to protect Ikatosh as much as possible. If I was thinking, I should have realized what he was going to do here. After I defeat Dregara, we're going at it in Castle Wrathwhack. I'm just hitting him with, again, as many big attacks as I can, want to get his fighters out of the way. I already destroyed Ani's baton with Discord Disarming when he played Deadwater, in case you missed that. So, unless he's a Bodil's Arsenal, he shouldn't be able to bring it back, but I didn't know what he had, obviously. So I just wanted to get him out of the way as quickly as possible. Dregara is gone. Now, you'll see Felfour has 6 counters, and what he does here is probably the best use of Felfour team. Usually, it's late in the game and the board is much more open, so it's much easier to move people around. But he moves my creatures around like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle here, or that game where you move the blocks around inside a very tight space. I forget what it's called. But he moves an Archear, moves Loma, moving Ikatosh up so that he can attack Ikatosh. He could have attacked him here anyway. But yeah, him getting all those counters that he did allowed him to do this. So now, in addition to him stealing the counter off Lanker, putting it on Ikatosh, I'm going to lose my Ikatosh. Because the chances of me beating Nuncorn are very low. I try to boost up his power, give him a fighting chance. I know I've got some decent attacks in here, and when he has decent stats, I could be able to do something. What was I debating here? I had a bit more on Lanker. I didn't use it to boost his power for some reason. I don't remember exactly why I did everything I did. I was thinking maybe he would try to target me or something. He plays another Deadwater Devastation, unfortunately. I get off around the Reckless, I play a Carnivore's Keening. Just to try to kill Nuncorn somehow with Ikatosh, because if I can keep him alive, that'd be fantastic. Getting rid of Nuncorn wouldn't hurt either. Plays the Denial Refrain on my Rhyme of the Reckless, which is unfortunate. Play Flash Warp, I'm not dead yet, just trying to get him down as much as I can, because Riptide thankfully doesn't have Water 5. I get a Marksman's, thankfully. So I play that thinking I'm going to have a chance to kill him, or at least make him waste a Keening, but then he has Adaptive Progression, which negates my Marksman's, thanks to Chalk and Flygamp's Tuning Fork. I get Lord's Chamber, so even if he has Bodil's Arsenal, it's not going to be able to bring back Ani's Baton now. So now it's just a matter of beating down his creatures as quickly as I can. Ursus with Prowl Strike. They don't have the Ikatosh energy, but 80 energy is plenty. 30 damage against Nuncorn. I don't want him to revive again. If I was smart, I should have moved that second Ursus over to block the board, but I didn't. I get the Smart Smack. I wasn't sure what he was going to play in response, if he was going to bring Nuncorn back again, but maybe he just didn't want to, maybe he couldn't have in the moment. He does unheard Melody, Loma, unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. All my counters are gone, I can't refrain Denial. So Narkiar is going to have Reckless 10 if and when he fights. He cycles through, I believe, his locations, looking for stuff to give him an advantage, because now he's going to have to win with Solo, Ani, Flygamp, Felfour, and Chalk. Chalk doesn't have water, so he's probably going to be useless. get rid of his Mipper Mirage, which is a bit annoying because I would have liked him to attack Ursus. And then he's going to use Fel 4 to move around my creatures again. The Dew Farm, not good. Even though an Archaeor has Reckless 10, I could have maybe dealt enough damage, but not with Flag Amp getting all this heal from the location ability. I'm just getting off as many attacks as I can, try to maybe get him down, but with Reckless 10, it was never going to be easy. He Interfloods another counter onto Flag Amp. Play the Synaptic Acceleration, and an Archaeor is going to die. I think I got a Cycle off there, or maybe not. He spends a bunch of time looking through, I believe, my locations. I'm not sure exactly what he was looking for. Maybe just trying to prevent me from getting something really good. If the video is going super fast, in total, I believe I played, if I haven't mentioned this already, I think I played 7 matches in total. The total footage was, I think, well over 2 hours. So to make this video a more digestible length, I had to cut out parts of the first match, and then I put it down a bunch, and then I think I sped it up 2 times or something, so that's why everything's going pretty fast. It's, should be straightforward to follow. Nothing too crazy happens, because the only ability bursts that really go on here are with his Flag Amp, with his Fel 4, or me with my Lanker on occasion. Gets me to Mirage, it's going to move me around, so no, he attacks with Ani. Again, Ani is just 50 across the board, and I have Ursus, and I still have Lanker, so I should be able to beat him, no problem. I get Smart Smack again. He gets off after a Feint. You just want to kill him. Prowl Strike takes care of that. He gets to draw and drop some stuff. Looking for locations. So at this point, I just need to use 2 Ursus and Lanker to beat a Chalk and 2 Fluidmorphs. Sounds easy, but you're going to see how close it actually gets. Puts down the Mirage in front of Lanker, so he's going to get to fight him with Flag Amp, which is annoying, but thankfully his creatures have terrible power, so it shouldn't be that hard with double Ursus. I'm going to use Fighting Chalk here. I know I'm going to beat Chalk just to cycle. I don't think I'm going to beat Lanker, or I'm going to beat Flag Amp with Lanker, depending on the location he gets. Just as Lanker is such low energy and to boost his stats, he has to lose more energy. I did drop 1 Marksman's Prep there if you saw it, to stop him from gaining a bunch of counters. He gets the Dew Farm again, but I know I'm going to lose, I just don't want to get any more counters. Plays the Flood Floor, so I'm just dumping my ability on the Ursuses to kill myself and get it over with. So 2 Ursus, 2 Fluidmorphs, it's going to be my location next. I think I have to attack Flag Amp there on the Barrage. Moves up, Fel 4. He's looking through my locations. He does that a bunch. Again, I wasn't sure what in particular what he was looking for. And thankfully that gets over with. Castle Wrathback, my location again. The planet with Fluidmorphs. You just want to kill him as quickly as possible. Prowl Strike, Flag Amp has terrible power. So Ursus can take care of him, no problem. Gets off Invader's Tactics. He's looking through my locations again. I don't want to waste a Fearless Strike quite yet, so just to use the Ectospasm. I could have used Dry Liquid, but it's fine. And Dry Liquid to finish him off. So 2 Ursus versus 1 Fel 4. However, I was worried a certain location, this location was going to be in his deck and was going to come up because I know he has Unheard Melody, and I know for a fact that's what he brought back. He gets off of Deadwater, so now both my Ursus are vulnerable. He's going to go to 5 counters in a second. I can't make the stat check on Magma Hack, unfortunately, so I really needed some luck there. Didn't get it. Got him down to 5, but he gets his 6th counter, plays Unheard Melody. I'm down to my last Ursus versus Fel 4. Really disappointing. I was really worried here. You get Mipper Mirage, we showdown. I can't do anything with any of these attacks. He gets another Deadwater. I was really sweating here. I get a Fearless Strike, get him down to 15, get him down to 5, and thankfully kill him with Dry Liquid. On to the next match, Strike Deck. I was very worried when I clicked into this. I'd never played this person before, so I wasn't sure what they would have. If Jan is especially annoying, even compared to standard Strike Deck, because now he can block me targeting myself with Lank or with Carnivore's Keening. So I know he's going to defend with Malvadine when I attack first. I wasn't sure what he would have, Torwag or Evergreen Tunic, OPX Apron, that's what he had, so I'm able to expend on top of the OPX Apron trigger, still get my energy, still get my courage. The location is really helpful, although because I go first, he's going to get the additional 10 damage from Headmaster and Kaija. When you face Strike, your game plan should be, you're probably not going to beat them first battle in general, so you want to bait out as much of the resources as possible, because they don't have a ton. You can see he only has 5 Muji counters there. Really the only 2 we care about are the double Melody of Mirage, which you see in almost all my Titan decks. I have 1 Reframes Denial, so I can deal with 1, but I might want to save that for something later. So I just want to use Ursus to bait out as much as possible. Try to beat Malvadine if I can. I want to see what he did with the Rhyme the Reckless. He wasn't aware about the errata where Rhyme targets the attack instead of the creature, so he tried to make himself untargetable to block it. So that's why Malvadine is at 5. The whole plan with this deck is, where strategically appropriate, you just engage with Ursus, make them either lose, hopefully, or use up as many resources as possible, because if one Ursus dies, I have an identical one right there. If that one dies, hopefully they're softened up enough so a Niarchia with the Doomhammer can sweep in and just clean everybody up. I was just explaining why If Jane didn't stop my Rhyme with Reckless, because the errata text targets the attack, not targeting the creature. So he made himself untargetable, so there's no way he'd be able to heal anyway, so Malvadine's just at 5. So at this point I know, okay, that's one Malvadine done, but you've still got 4 other fighters to deal with. I wasn't sure what he was going to do, so I used the Muta's Edge instead of Ectospasm. Not a big deal at this point. I think this is also a bit of a new player, so a couple mistakes here and there. I'm able to take down one Malvadine, but by no means am I out of the woods, especially when stuff like Crystal Cave comes up, which just makes things way harder, because I have to waste an attack. He's going to get initiative, he's going to go first, and probably going to deal, 20 or 30 damage. I wasn't sure how many resources I wanted to waste here. That Shriek Shock made it a bit easier, because he only dealt me 25, which against Ursus is fine. Thankfully I remembered that the first attack heals 0, so I just dumped the Ectospasm. He just played a Synaptic Acceleration. I responded with Traditionalist Charge. So now, I still have more energy, thankfully. I'm waiting for the Before the Storm to come up. He gets off a Velocitrap. I want to hold on to the Prowl Strikes since he hasn't played any Melody of Mirage yet. I just want to get him as low as possible and see what happens. Magma Hack. 55, he's at 25. When you're playing Strike, you're just waiting for Before the Storm. And there it is. So I was debating letting the Ursus die, using Melody Mirage to save it. If I used Melody Mirage, I didn't want to really get into a resource battle on a location that isn't mine, because then I was already at a disadvantage. I wanted to try to get into a resource battle since I know I have more resources, but also when it's my location. Just because with Strike you have such a low margin for error. I just wanted to try to put myself in the best possible position. So I get the Pits. I know he's going to get the Strike boost from Headmaster, because no matter what, I'm going to go first. So once again, the plan, you want to use Ursus to bait out resources. Since Ursus will have 100 energy, he can take a beating. The location really helps, because that Traditionalist Charge against Malvadine deals 20 damage, puts me up another 5. I just want to beat him down as much as possible with my 1 build point attacks and 0s and stuff that are now boosted in this location. I do use a Prowl Strike there just to try and get down to 10 quickly, because I played one Before the Storm. I wasn't sure when the second one would come up. He's at 10, so this Ectospasm is going to force him to waste a Melody Mirage if he wants to keep his Malvadine. And I don't mind if he Melody Mirages it, because I can kill him with any other attack that comes up. So he gets 1 out there. I'm always game planning for 2. There's a second Before the Storm. I knew that would happen eventually, so that's why I had my Melody Mirage good to go. I know he's not going to be able to stop that. And then Flash Warp, thankfully, Malvadine dies. He didn't play the second Melody Mirage, which was curious, but again, I was at like 60 energy, so it would have just been a losing battle. He gets the Royal Academy, and then he's just got Headmaster left at his best as his best fighter. Still good. I thought he would have a Varithian Axe. I'm just going to let Anarchiar fight. Thankfully, he's got a Zerium armor, so I don't lose energy. And my Discord Disarmament can take care of that, because I know the 2 Awakeys will have Fulgurites, and as long as I have Anarchiar after this battle, my 3 fighters should be enough to take down his 2 fighters. He played a Meditative Leap or something to deal me 35. Fearless Strike is going to deal him 30. And I'm still waiting for that second Melody Mirage, because he didn't play it to save Malvadine, which was understandable. I thought for sure he would play it here. I was waiting. He lets it go through. So at that point I began to suspect maybe he didn't have one, or he had an Aegis area instead. I'll find out after, and I'll show you the deck list of my opponents at the end of the video. He actually had an Armament out of Gio and some Gear Glissandos, which would have been really helpful against the Doomhammer here, but he just didn't use them for whatever reason. Again, he's a new player, so he wasn't really sure of all the right moves to make. At this point, I'm just waiting for his next attack. I think he already has both Before the Storms in the discard. Playing the Magma Hack. He could have used the Keening, I wasn't sure what he was holding. Because with non-standard Mepetian decks, you just never know. There's the Gear Glissando. He was trying to drop my power, which is fine, because I can just use the Linker once to get the stat check. And then I think he tried to block my power boost again. That's fine. I just did it a couple more times to be sure. Upped his power, and that takes care of Headmaster. So now we're down to 3 fighters versus 2 fighters in Nifjan. This one I was debating who to attack. I think I just wanted to get... Oh no, I attacked Wakey. I wasn't sure whether I would attack Ifjan. I think my plan here after is beat a Wakey, then move the Mirage so that Ifjan has to attack on his location, wasting a turn, and then I can attack his final Wakey on my turn. I use an Archear here instead of Ursus, because in case he starts dropping some acid damage with his Air 15, I can use Carnivore's Keening to save myself, and I won't have Recklessness, because I still have those counters on Ursus. And whatever he's got left, he's only got 1 counter. Hopefully I take him down. Unfortunately I had to dump. I don't know why I tried to block the speed challenge here, just because it would deal so much damage, but I tried to up his speed, which probably wasn't the best idea. But I just get off Carnivore's Keening, because I know that Inferno Guts with Awakey is going to do massive damage. And then I tried to block his speed again, but then I realized that Anarchiar is so damn slow, it doesn't even matter. Get off a Prowl Strike, he's at 5, I'm at 75. At this point I'm feeling pretty confident. Got a Marksman's in hand, I'm probably going to get a 0 or something that I can dump. Plays Atmosphere. And then I get Flash Warp. Although I think just really wanted to win this battle. Okay, I wasn't sure whether I would play the Marksman's. I get rid of Wakey, that's great. At this point I basically know I have it in hand, because even if I lose 1 fighter to his Awakey, I'm going to take down Ifjan, and then I'm going to have 2 fighters left, and he's going to have no resources, and he's not going to have his Fulgurite after 1 battle. So I want to take out Awakey with an Archear, so I'm going to make Ifjan just attack Ursus real quick. He makes himself a target roll. Location flips to Dranicus, which is annoying. But I should be able to take down a 45 energy Ifjan versus 100 energy Ursus. Just take care of him real quick. If he had a Strain of Infection, or a Strain of Expensive Delusions, that would have been the spot to use it when he had the Hunter's Perimeter on an Archear. But at this point I'm just going to go hard. Take out a Wakey, use whatever means necessary. It's my location, his damage is reduced. Just want to get him as low as possible. Even with Before the Storm, it's only going to do 55, so this Prowl Strike should take care of business, and I take care of that match. Next up, I was terrified of this. Burn is not one of the strong points of this deck. I can do okay because I have double Mind Probe, but in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing, it's really dangerous. Takinam is really annoying because of her Swift 2, so I try to take care of her with Ursus. Again, you want it to get them to use up resources because Ursus can take such a beating and he can like win a fight easily. So I just wanted to see what I could get done. Even though I lost the location initiative, Magnemite is not helpful. Thankfully it wasn't our first attack, but losing my Coranium Pendant is not ideal. I know if he's running the standard Underworld Music, which I suspected since he's running the same creatures, you do not want to let Strain of Ash go through, so that's why I refrain denial that. That means that my supports are safe. He's got the Song of Desperation on his Takinam now. He doesn't have Fire 5, so stats aren't going to go through, and he doesn't have an element buff, so now I'm just waiting, playing my lower attacks, trying to get him to use up as much resources as possible. Plays Ash Torrent. I'm going to let that go through, even with the additional damage from the ability. Smart Smack, I really want to kill Takinam here. Unfortunately, he plays the Cannon of Casualty, and even if I boost Ursus's stats with Lanker, that cannon is going to kill him before the attack resolves, and then it's going to, the question I'm asking here, what happens to the stats? The stats, it's going to use the scan stats, so unfortunately that's not going to work. Once I had that confirmed by one of the mods, I was just deciding what to do. But then I realized actually the cannon wasn't cast off Copeland, it was cast off Olmar, so I had enough energy left to let the boosts go through. So Takinam dies, then he uses Olmar to kill Ursus afterwards. He probably should have stacked another Olmar on the burst, just to make sure I was dead. But fortunately for me, he didn't, and I was able to take care of Takinam. Since I have more fighters than him, I'll gladly trade one Ursus for a Takinam. I thought KR would have Zero Murmur for sure, because this just looked like the standard Underworld starter. He had Brithian Axe, so I'm going to lose that energy by not destroying his gear first. I wasn't sure who he would attack with. I'm at 50. The Blight's not ideal because I don't get my Ikitosh energy, and I can't use Carnivore's Keening to gain energy on an Archear. What I can do, which I will do in a sec after I let this Prowl Strike go through, Carnivore's Keening on your opponent in Prexorchasm the Blight will cause them to gain 0 energy and gain Recklessness 10, which is great. So now it's just a matter of how much burn is he going to do on me. I'm not letting his attack go through because I want him to use up all his Mujik ability burn if he's going to try to beat an Archear this way. As you can see, I'm already down to 1 Carnivore's Keening. Thankfully, he didn't just spam his Mujiks on an Archear, and Kaor is defeated. So now it's 1 fighter, just his call, and then Copond. I know he's got a couple Caster's Warsong, and I believe Cannon still left, plus the annoying Olmar ability, so I'm going to take an Archear into call. I got Lanker off the Prexorchasm Mirage because that drops his energy by 20, which is not helpful at all. Call has a big power, so the Doomhammer was a big help here, plus the additional 5 damage to Underworlders. Apologies for that. Again, because he has so much burn, if he just decides to drop everything on me at once, it'd be a real problem. So, this Consuming Flame takes me to 55. I wanted to try to bait him into just playing everything, but again, he lets the Fearless Strike go through. Lord's Chamber, his location, I didn't have to worry about Revival anyway. So now I just have to beat his supports with my fighters. Again, he has a bunch of burn at his disposal, so I wasn't sure when he was going to use it. Probably should have used it beforehand because I've taken out all his fighters already. It's Aftermath Feint. I'm holding on to the Marksman's Prep, even though I know that the other Olmar should have a Phoenix Belt, and Copon has a Web, not a Gigantroper. One thing I learned is that Phoenix Belt can go through Isaiah Mind Probe, even though Lanker has higher wisdom, so thankfully he still had 5 energy left after that, and he didn't have any other Phoenix Belt to face up, because otherwise I would have lost Lanker. I should have been okay, but that was something that I learned. Battle Gear, like Phoenix Belt and Nexus Fuse, because they're not creature abilities, if you read the text carefully of Isaiah Mind Probe, it only blocks creature abilities like Olmquad. so Battle Gear can go through that. If I had a Chowler, then it just blocks all abilities, so then that wouldn't work. I just take Ursus in, again, you can take a beating if he decides to start burning him. Plays Ash Torrent for 5, and Magma Hack takes care of Olmar. So now I've just got one creature left. He puts the Lures Mirage on Copan. I was going to attack Copan with 60 energy, because there's no reason to risk that. I get the Mithra Mirage. I'm just going to move everybody back, be more defensive. And I figured, because he put the second Lore's Chamber there, I'm going to make him attack Ursus on a location that's different. I don't really care, it's the Blight. And I take out Copan. Okay, so now we're on to Zygris after I beat Yonking Dragon. Another Ani deck, which I didn't expect to see twice. So as you can see, he's got Braktan, Double Mockadin, Ani, Zistork, and Ukubra. He gets another first attack, well, not him, but the second time in this tournament, as you saw, that first attack that my opponent plays is Deadwater. I use Melody Mirage on that because I want to limit his counter game, because I know the Double Mockadin is going to be super annoying, and I just want to beat the Ukubra quickly, get out of the way. Because you know he's got Hunter Melody, you know he's got Calling of Ani. His Braktan makes my Discord of Disarming a total brick in this case. He tries to save the Ukubra. In the early game, it's really important to win the first battle, because once you start letting them get up to all their counters, Millions just become unbearable, and since I don't have Burn, I can't take him out without beating him in combat. The pits, I want to take out Anarchiar, I want to take out Ani as quickly as possible. He gets off a Rage of Ani, I want to kill him, which is why I chose Anarchiar. He doesn't have elements, so he doesn't get element proof. I beat him, thankfully, and because his counters were low, he wasn't able to cast on her Melody or anything like that. I moved up the second Ursus in case his next location was the Nethor's Foothold, the Revival location. So now is where it gets a bit tough, because he's got Double Mockadin, and Mockadin has the annoying ability of sacrificing 4 major counters and healing 25, and he's got 2 of them. So every 4 attacks played by Braktan that deal damage, that are water attacks, is worth 50 energy, and that's really hard to outpace. I tried offensively Carnivore Skiing him, he did not allow that. So I'm just throwing everything I can at this Braktan. Try to use offensive Carnivore Skiing again, he denies it again. Flood Force, he's got so many counters on the Mockadins, he just used that one there, so as close as I can get him to 0, dealing decent damage every time. He can heal 5, he can heal 25. It's just not good. He keeps healing, I started at 105, or I got to 105, he's at 15, I'm at 10, and then Coral Balls, all my musics are gone, all my heal is gone. I can't get rid of his defender. Here, I've made probably a mistake, because I forgot briefly that he had Defender Fluid Morph, so I thought I would take a Mockadin, but now I have to fight Braktan again. What I should have done is attack Zistork with Narkiar, presuming I win that combat, which isn't a guarantee. I could have put the Mirage there in Zistork's spot, but Anarchiar would have been there. Because of where Braktan is, then one of the Fluid Morphs would have had to attack, and then I probably could have beaten them and gotten him down to 1 Braktan and 1 Fluid Morph. So as you can see there, I just mentioned how I forgot, because now I know I really made things tough for myself. I put the Mirage there, now I'm going to have to take down this Mockadin, but again, he gets so many counters, and he's got so much heal compared to the amount of damage I can deal since I don't have Ability Burn. It's just, even against this 45 energy creature, you can see the throwing everything I have at him, the Fearless Strikes, the Smarts Max, he gets another Deadwater, which is fine. He's at 5, but I can't get him down to 0 because he just gets so many counters. I played the Marksman's Prep to stop him from gaining more counters on that one, but he's still got 6 counters on his back Fluid Morph. Resistless Charge, trying to get him as low as possible. But he's got 8 counters, so that's 100 more energy on there, so I know that at this point I've really messed myself up by attacking with Narkiar when I shouldn't have, because he can just keep healing. He's going to take down my Ursus here with, you know, a support Muge. And of course I'm going to play it out, but again, at this point, there's nothing I can do. And then fighting with Braktan when he's got 75 energy, he just needs to survive and keep dealing me 5 damage, and eventually he's going to be able to beat me because I can't keep up with that amount of heal. I use Lanker to boost my power, boost my courage, to get the location boost in a desperate attempt to try to beat this heal, but I know he's still got music left. You know, he's still got those constant heal. So at this point, I'm just delaying the inevitable. I'm trying to hit him as much as I can, plays Unheard Melody to take care of Loma. At this point, I'm just down to 2 supports, so I know this is over. But thankfully, since it's a double elimination tournament, I have to lose twice. So this would be, once this match is over, this would be my first loss. Then I would go into the loser's bracket. And then if you win your way out of the loser's bracket, you go to the finals. So I'm just playing it out, moving Lanker around, trying to make him attack with the Fluid Morph. It doesn't matter because he's got 11 counters and it just keeps gaining counters. I'm trying to boost my power so I can do more damage, but I know it's inevitable at this point. Crush. Zagreus wins this one. So I'm in the loser's bracket, and I think I'm going to pause the replay here for a second. So in the loser's bracket against Black Exodia here. As I said, I think this was the only loser's bracket match I had to do, so the winner of this match, since Zagreus was undefeated at that point, would go to the finals to play Zagreus. So I had a suspicion that Black would use this deck just because I played him in the past and he's used it before. I wasn't 100% sure what build he would use, but I just really wanted to get to the finals for the first time and try my best to win against Zagreus. Since I played him once, I had that experience, but Wise Guys is really tough, so we'll see how this plays out here. Carnival Confusion, which is annoying, because that gets rid of my ability to expend my Earth, since the Earth on Ursus becomes fire to the location. He attacks, he has the Wings of Attraction on Avena. I decided to use Lanker to give Ursus more speed to win the initiative, because I figure if I don't get him now, I'm not going to get him at all. Because with this deck, depending if he's running 1 or 2 Mind Mash, as soon as he gets his Mind Mash, he can beat you in a burst with Rhyme the Reckless and Refrain Denial and stuff. So I just want to pray I can get him down as quickly as possible before Mind Mash comes up, and praying he only has 1, because obviously I didn't know how many he had in the deck. Seeing Heptad's Crown on Porthin, and my previous experience against this player made me think he's got Elemental Denial and Tune Zerium in his music deck. Elemental Denial, I don't care. Tune Zerium is for protecting the Wings of Attraction. I try to use offensive Carnivore Scheming on Avena. He refrains denials at both times, which is fine, because my game plan here is use Ursus, try to beat Avena. If not beat her, then try to make him use up all his denials so I can save my Discord Disarmament for last, use Discord Disarmament to get rid of the Wings of Attraction, and then I can take up his support creatures and run away from Avena, or at least delay her, so that when I do have to fight Avena with like an Archear or something, all his supports are gone, and then I have a better chance. So we're just trading attacks here. I think he's got 1 or 2 elemental attacks, like Outwit. I don't really have any of those. I'm just playing my stats. I have more power. I think I had to use a Prowl Strike that only dealt 20, but as you can see, he hasn't played a bunch of stuff yet. Now he's going to start playing things like his heal and his game with Drave, and he's got the Girthar. I just want to make him use up as much as possible his resources. I don't care about losing this one Ursus. I just want to get him down lower and lower and lower so that I can take him out later. Because I didn't expect to win this first battle, really, but what I mentioned, this is where it gets crucial. Marksman's Prep is going to do 35 here. I wasn't sure what he was going to do, but I knew he was going to try to save her in some manner. So he's going to Drabe to get him up to 35. I think he already played the Girthar. Second Drabe, that's going to get him up to 50. And then Tune of Zerium here, which I wasn't expecting. I thought he would save it for the Wings, but he uses it to bring back the Girthar, as you can see there. So that means that I don't have to worry about Tune of Zerium bringing back the Wings of Attraction anymore. I can just save it. I can just use Discord Disarming to get rid of him. Although I still know he has Interlude probably, so I'm just trying to get him down as much as possible. Prowl Strike is going to do 30 damage. He's at 15, I'm at 5. That Girthar, he's at 5. Again, I'm just trying to get him down, get him down. Melody of Mirage, I know he's going to try to do something, because he knows my next attack is going to deal 5 damage, and he's used up his heal on Drave and stuff. Interlude of Interruption, totally fine, because I still have my Rhyme the Reckless. If he wants to stop it from dealing damage, then it's going to go through. If he has another Interlude of Interruption, Akatosh will be able to stop it, because he has that extra counter to play. And this is the crucial point, because of the resources he has left. He conceded right there. If I could actually just go back on this one, guys. I just wanted to analyze that part real quick. So, based on what he has, you can see I'm at 5, he's at 5. That Directed Bravery is going to do 35 damage. He's completely used up everything on Drabe. Porthin is going to help him. I think he's already played 4 Musics, clearly. I know one of them is Elemental Denial, and it doesn't matter what the other one is, because the most it could be is 25 or 30, and as you can see in my Music deck, I still have Refrain of Denial on Loma, so I think he didn't know what I had, obviously, but he realized at this point that he wasn't going to win, so that's why once we go through this, then he actually concedes. So this gets me back into the finals against Zygrus. I spent like half an hour before this game planning what I wanted to do. Thankfully I go first. Thankfully it's the Mipper Mirage, but in order to win the tournament I'm going to have to beat Zygrus twice. That's how double elimination works, since he hasn't lost at all. So to kick him out, I'd have to win twice. So because this Torque is super annoying, I'm going to try to use Anarchiar as much as possible. He does have elements, so they're not going to get an energy boost, and I can use Carnivore's Keening to just give him straight energy without having to worry about recklessness, as long as I have all orders. So we defense with the Kubra, game plan, just try to kill him as quickly as possible, because those double Mockadins are going to be the death of me. Traditionalist Charge, loosening his courage, I just want a Kubra to die, I need him to die as quickly as possible. His Intimidate Wisdom was actually annoying there, because the Smart Smack couldn't deal as much as it normally would, but it was still to kill him. It was really important where I put the Mirage here. I had to think. I covered all my supports, and then I put it there on Anarchiar, because I wanted Anarchiar to fight as much as possible. I debated giving Anarchiar more wisdom to make him go first, but I decided to just move past it. I Melody Mirage that Rage of Ani, because I know that besides Deadwater, that's his biggest attack for a Chieftain, and just trying to limit those counters that he gains. Trying to kill him as quickly as possible, Fearless Strike. I wanted to make him waste heal on Zistork, if possible, but I knew he probably wasn't going to do that. But I really hoped he didn't, even though Anarchiar should be able to beat Zistork. Even with the location dampening, but I still got mine open for. This part really killed me, because what I'm going to do here, move Ursus there to cover his side of the board. First of all, I just need to beat Ani in general to win the match, even though he's got the double lock it in there in the back. But having Lore's Chamber be the location here means that regardless of what happens in Ursus versus Ani, the Mipin Mirage on my Anarchiar is going to go away, so I'm not going to be able to force Mockadin to fight Anarchiar. I still tried as hard as I possibly could to beat Ani here. Again, Barakatan makes my Discord Disarming a complete brick. He's got so much heal. He's got 7 counters on 1 Fluid Morph. I'm trying to use offensive Carnivore's Keening just to make him play Denial Refrain, but he has so many counters. At this point, I'm at 55. He's at 20. I'm getting my good attacks. I'm getting them. I'm playing them. I just can't deal enough damage to kill him because he's got all that heal. At this point, at the very least, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get him to use up all his counters so that if Ani wins, hopefully he won't have enough counters to play Calling of Ani, because at that point, if he flips Ani, it's over. Play Magma Hack, he's at 15. He gets off a Carnivore's Keening, actually. It was pretty futile in the end, playing Refrain there, because I'm at 5. I know he should be able to deal 5 damage when he has Water 5. I lose Ursus, but Ani doesn't flip. That's the key card, but by the cruel twist of fate, I can't use the Mimic Mirage because it goes away. I would have had to fight Ani afterwards because he moved him up, and because he beat Ursus. At this point, mathematically, unless some miracle happens, I know I'm probably not going to be able to win, so I'm just going to play it out anyway. But having Barakatan blocking my gear destruction, having double Mockadin for heal is just too much. At this point, again, I'm just going to try to somehow get him to use up more resources. Try to do my best with Ursus. But this location gives him more energy. He went first. It was just a losing battle from this point on. I almost wished he attacked first so that I could have gotten my location after winning a battle. But at this point, he flips Ani. It's game over there. He's got Mujix left, so it's not even a targeting ability that can be blocked by Mind Probe. It's just I have to sacrifice creatures. Overrulers are gone. I'm just going to leave an Archear to finish it out by dealing some damage. He's going to defend with Barakatan. I've got Ruxlin's 10. I'm just going to fight it out. Zagreus, if you're watching, good game. Excellent job. Zagreus wins. Alright everybody, so that was the tournament. I hope you enjoyed. Just some notes I wanted to talk about before I show you my opponent's deck. So once again, GG to Zagreus if you're watching. That was a really tough deck. Even though he beat me, he still, or not even though, so he beat me twice, and I think he went undefeated throughout the whole thing, so there were some tough decks in there. Strike, Burn, Wise Guys, I think he beat all those, plus some other ones, so really congratulations to him for building an excellent deck. It's not even, it's a good Ani deck, but it's just a good deck in general. You could take out Ani for any other Merlin creature, or any other creature really, and it would still be good just because you have Barakatan protection and you have double Mockadin. The only way on paper I can see to beat that is if you have to burn Barakatan, take him down, then destroy the Whaeless Energy Vessels, and use those Mujix, burn Mujix to take out Mockadin and eliminate that heal. So my matches, I think I played pretty well. There wasn't any super obvious mistakes. Again, I would have wished I could go back and see how it would have turned out if I didn't attack in my first match with Zagreus that spot with Mockadin that got defended. Instead, I attacked the Zistoric and made him defend. There was a bunch of new players in this tournament, so if it was against more experienced players, I'm not sure how I would have done, but I made it to the finals, which was my goal going in. Never done that, so hopefully in the next one I make a better deck than this somehow, or maybe have a bit better luck and can make it all the way to the winner's circle. So yeah guys, now I'm going to go over the decks that my opponents use, and then we're going to end the video. Okay everyone, so I hope you enjoyed seeing me play. As I said, I'm going to go over the decks that I face now. So here is our champion Zagreus with his Ani Mockadin deck. So Mujix, Calling of Ani. I think we saw everything though in the battles. Calling of Ani, Unheard Melody, of course. Carnivore's Keening, 2 Denial and Refrain, and Surprising Rifts. Locations, we've got 2 Everrain, 1 Riverlands Aractab's Foothold up here, 2 Nethvar's Foothold for Chieftain Revive, Beathouse Refractorium for Cycle. He's got a 2nd Aractab's Foothold, Shardcrafter's Workshop, and 2 Oligarch's Path. And then creatures we all saw, so Zistoric with a Mind Probe. Sometimes you see him with a Gigantroper, but my probe is fine. Kubra with Mega Shard, Ani of course with his Baton, the annoying Barakatan, which made me wish that I had Surprising Rifts instead of Discord Disarming, because he completely turned my Discord Disarming into a brick, and then his Defender Fluid Morph really messed me up, and then the double Mockadin, ever annoying. Pretty standard water deck, 2 Burning Rain, double Dead Water, double Flood Force, Ghost Gouge, which basically needs to be auto-included in Ani decks if you can get him flipped. Invader's Tactics, Carl Crush, Tidal Surge, Aqua Recoil, Coral Balls, and Rage of Ani. So congratulations to Zagreus if you're watching this. Not a deck I would have expected to win, but he played really well and did a great job. Black's deck here, the Wise Guys. I've played it before, I think, when we played in Unrestricted a while ago. So the Mujix, I suspected he'd have Elemental Denial which was a break against me. Tune of Zirium we saw, Harmonious High Song, which I suspected he had, or a Fluid Fugue, Refrain, and Interlude. Thankfully he didn't have 4 of those, that would have been terrible. Locations, Carnival of Confusion, Key City, Bodil's Arsenal. He's got the Royal Academy here, Portal Forest, another Key City, Overworld Library, and 1 Mipton Mirage. Adrian with the Telebracers, I wasn't sure what he would have, but I wouldn't have expected Telebracers. Victosh with the Mind Probe, same as me, Gara with the Flute. Draves Tar we saw, Avena with the Wings of Attraction. Most of the time you'll see Zirium armor, but this is another variant to that where you have to focus on keeping the wings on her so that Avena is always fighting, which is great because that's what you want. And then Porthin with Heptite's Crown. He can use his ability as well, but if these 2 magics come in handy, then the Heptite's Crown is really good. Attacks, thankfully it wasn't double Mind Mash, because that could have made it a bit harder. Quick Exit, Piercing Brilliance, Out Freeze, of course, Direct Bravery, 1 Mind Mash, 2 Delirium, 1 Carnowin, Shadow Strike, Spirit Gust, Daunting Bravery times 2, got 2 Outwit here, and Glacial Pulse. Outwit is actually really good with Avena, even though she doesn't have fire, because it should still be 15 damage. The Burn deck, which is, I think, exactly the same as the Underworld starter deck on Recode, except for a couple changes. Double Cannon, Caster's War Song, and Strain of Ash and Song of Desperation, so those are the same. I think this location deck is the same as well. Lore's Chamber, the Blight, Magmadam, Phlogiston, and the Coliseum. Copon, you can have a Weightless Energy Vessel, or Chaler, doesn't really matter. Phoenix Bell, Omar, and then I thought KR would have Zirium, as I mentioned. Takinam with an Axe, and Call with a Vile Driver. I think if you left with Axe up here and Zirium down here would have been better, but oh well. And then I think the attacks are mostly the same. There's no Aftermath Feint in the starter, but everything else appears to be mostly the same, just fire attacks. The Strike deck that we saw with Isabella or Invisibella, of Lost Trap, Snapped Acceleration. There's no Shriek Shock in the starter. This is pretty similar to the Penny starter, except no Ifjan. Inferno Gust, Hammer Dash, Before the Storm, Atmosphere. Normally there's Tornado Tackle here, I think. Headmaster, expected him to not have Zirium. Double Apron, Double Fulgurite, Mugix, Armament, Song of Shelter, only 1 Melody Mirage, as you see, but double Gear Glissando. I think the locations are mostly the same. Dranicus, Hunter's Perimeter, Academy, Oasis, Crystal Cave. Still a good deck. This is Bernardo's Ani deck. This was the first one we faced. We've got, let's see here, Nuncorn, the ever-annoying Nuncorn with the Converter, Dragora with a Freshwater Shard. Thankfully I was running stats so I didn't get hit by his ability, and he's not using Quartzoa either. Flagamp, the ever-annoying Flagamp. Even more annoying Felfor with the Mind Probe. Flagamp has need tuning for. Ani with his Baton, of course, and thankfully we weren't running elements or we would have gotten brutalized by Chalk here, taking away our elements. Inner Flood, Sleet Slide, Burning Rain, Aftermath Feint, Double Dead Water, of course, Rage of Ani, Flood Force, Island Advance, Riptide, and Freeze. Locations, Oligarch's Path, Riverlands, regular Riverlands, Kybro's Foothold, Castle Bodrin, which almost got us in the end, Dew Farm, and the Mirage. Locations, Calling of Ani, Honored Melody, Classic Combo, Denial Refrain, Adaptive Progression, and Surprising Roots and Harmonics of Water. And then the first deck we played, I was surprised when I saw this location, music. Cascade, Symphony, Fighter's Fanfare, Frames Denial, Rhyme of the Reckless, Song of Resurgence, Song of Shelter. We got a double Doors of the Deep Mines, double Gigantum Populous, Moonlick Swamp, the Tropics, Riverlands, and then just, you know, I think this was someone who had recently joined the server, so this isn't really a competitive deck. But of course, anyone is welcome to join, anyone is welcome to play in the tournaments, as always. Riverland Storm, Rasnus, Lomon, Tornkrynth, Miskio, Vlark Shard, Calmo with the Lodestone, and Tharina, Drilldozer, Kinian with Orcus Undin, and then a bunch of Water and Earth attacks. So thanks everyone for watching if you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed. I'm hoping to have a couple more videos coming out, at least one with another match. After that, I don't know. But I'm Super A. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day.